Jai Gurudev. So today I want to talk about ego, pride, and arrogance. So I got this question from a person, and I want to go a little bit deep into it because sometimes we cannot see clearly and what is what. We believe the mind is the ego is the mind, and what is actually arrogance and what is actually pride. So to start off with it, the ego. I noticed that not all of us are aware of what the ego actually is. The ego is, we can say, a combination of your past experience. Your past experiences that becomes like a part of you, and what you believe is you. You believe that you are a dad, you're a mom, you're a man, you're a woman, and you identify yourself with maybe a trauma, a bad experience, and that becomes a part of you, which becomes a part of your ego. So all the experiences that you had through life builds up this ego, this identity, or many identities. And those identities then becomes a part of who you think you are, right? So we can say like this, like the ego is the master, and under the ego we have many sub categories. Under the ego we can have greed, we can have jealousy, we can have anger, we can have pride, we can have ignorance, we can have arrogance, and so on. So in our ego we can have pride, and pride can be, if we talk in the spiritual field today, everyone wants to become like a mini guru, and everyone wants to be a healer or this, or yoga teacher or meditation teacher, and so on, right? So let's say we practice meditation and we become a meditation teacher. So we start to teach meditation, and in this ego field of meditation teacher, it can build up so to say energy of pride. And let's say people start to know you, and you maybe you get famous and people watch you on the internet and so on. So this creates a little bit of pride. You become pride of, I am a meditation teacher. But this is also a part of the ego, right? And some of us are talking about, yeah, I'm an instrument of da 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 da. I'm an instrument of this healing energy. I'm an instrument of this meditation coming true. Yeah? But this is arrogance, ignorance, because everything is from the Lord Himself. Everything is from God. So the meditation teacher, or the healer, or the yoga teacher is God. Your own ego is also God. And everything that comes through you is also God. So everything is from the source itself. But due to our ignorance, we become arrogant, we get prideful, and we build upon our own ego. So this we can see, we all have this, and we all go through this in life. So by doing introspection, we have the Atma, right? The soul itself. And the soul itself is separated from your consciousness. And what is consciousness? Consciousness is the observer. Because you can observe, right? This consciousness can observe that you are thinking, correct? And this consciousness can observe that you have a feeling that is arising. You feel happy, you feel angry, you feel disappointed, you are frustrated, and you can observe this, correct? Yeah. So this observer is consciousness itself. The thing is, when we are stuck in the ego, we believe that everything that you are is this. I am this. And this is false. This is ignorance of your true nature. Because if we can withdraw ourselves from the ego, from the mind, then you can become in contact with the observer, with consciousness. And consciousness will then be drawn into the Atma itself to experience the Atma. So when we can experience the Atma and live from the Atma, we become self-realized. We are in the state of self-realization because we have the full realization of who we are. This is not the end goal. The end goal is God realization, when the Atma merge into the Supersoul, which is God. Then we can have God realization. But many today can reach the state of self-realization, but that is not in the meaning of God realization. So from God realization we go to self-realization, and then we go into consciousness, and from consciousness we go in to mind and ego, and into this yoga, Maya. So Maya is the illusion. So God is expressing himself out on different conscious levels. So God is in everything. So as soon as you can move away the doer, the I am the doer, you will automatically become more free, more in contact with your true nature. And by doing this practice every day of self-observation, of observing thoughts, observe your behavior, observe when the ego gets triggered, then you will slowly move more and live more out of the observing conscious energy. So the ego will be there in the background, the mind will be there, right? Because the mind is active, and we understand this by our thoughts, right? We are thinking every day. So this is the mind when mind is active. And it can be more activity or it can be less activity. This depends on our level of spiritual practice. The more practice we do, the less thoughts we will have in our mind, because if we process thoughts, behaviors, experiences that's in our subconscious mind, it will become more and more empty. And then past life will come, and we will work in this. And then this will be more and more empty, and more space will open up. And the more space that is opening up, the more you can find peace. Because thoughts are coming in a very high speed, right? And when this high speed is there of thoughts, it's impossible to find inner peace. It's impossible to discriminate what's ego, what's emotions, what is intuition. I had a discussion with a couple of friends yesterday about what is actually something that we feel emotionally is right or wrong, and what is actually what is our intuition. Because intuition is higher than our emotions. Intuition goes higher. The problem is that we sometimes believe like, yeah, I had a feeling about something. But the feelings are also connected to the mind, and the mind is also connected to the feelings. But if we don't have this ability to observe and really see things from a deeper perspective, we cannot know for sure if it's intuition or if it was just a feeling. And often when we just go into this feeling, we end up later on with disappointment. So what we have to do is, when we do spiritual practice, we do japam, which is mantras, we do meditation, then we can start to get this inner seeing and the inner connection with our intuition. And as long as we are in connected with our intuition, we can always choose a very, very nice path. Because in life we have small decisions like daily stuff, and then we have bigger decision that comes. Like every 10th year there comes a great decision that we need to take, right? And if we are in our intuition, then we can choose a very, very good path to go deeper into our destiny and deeper into our Dharma, deeper into the service of the Lord. So, by self-observation, by meditation and by mantra, we are able to tap into this field beyond the mind, beyond the ego, beyond the intellect, beyond the emotions, and be in contact with our intuition, be in contact with the consciousness itself, and then we can merge this consciousness into the Atma. If we, by God's grace, are very fortunate, we can move into God realization, but that is very, very unusual. But we have the opportunity by spiritual practice to move into self-realization, to merge into our Atma, to our soul. So when you have this perspective, you can have a little check how your ego is, how the pride is, and how the arrogance is. Okay, so that's it today. Thank you for listening. Jai Gurudev.